Hello, Dallas Cowboys fans. IndyCar 10 here with your Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz for today. I've got some Amari Cooper / wide receiver / salary cap / Cedrick Wilson free agent news this morning. As we know, the NFL Combine is going on and in Indianapolis. Of course, Mike McCarthy is there. The Joneses are there, both Steven and Jerry. And, the Cowboys, we've talked about this before. The Cowboys have some decisions to make here in the offseason while they're at the scouting combine. All of this is weighing heavily on them regarding free agency, regarding potential salary cap hell, and that huge $20 million contract, that $20 million payday that Amari Cooper is due this season if he is on the roster after March 21st. Today's video brought to you today by BetUS.com. Bet with the 3-decade leader in online sports betting, BetUS. Join now for a 125% cash bonus using our promo code DSP125 or a 200% bonus using crypto using promo code DSP200. Bet sports, casinos, pop culture, everything under the sun and more at BetUS.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. Thank you, BetUS.com. And so decisions to be made regarding Amari Cooper, who sort of fell off last season, did not have the best season. A lot of that may go hand in hand with the fact that Dak didn't have the best season. And, they kind of go hand in hand, really. But it's the words that Stephen Jones used at the scouting combine, because he talked briefly about this situation, specifically about Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence, about the cap crunch that they're potentially under. Stephen said, quote, "It's too early for me to address that yet. We're continuing to have conversations, and a lot of things affects that. We've obviously been fortunate to have those 3 great receivers on our roster, and obviously it's hard to keep doing that under a salary cap. Certainly, Cedrick Wilson did a really nice job for us." End quote. And it kind of threw Cedrick Wilson in there when he was talking about just Cooper and Lawrence and the salary cap, and kind of surprised a lot of people. So if you know the Joneses, if you've been around long enough to sort of translate the Joneses, so to speak, then you have every reason to think that came out of Steven's mouth because that's in Steven's brain. And that means somewhere in his brain there is a contingency plan. Might not even be a contingency plan. It might be the primary plan. We don't know that yet. For Cedrick Wilson to replace Amari Cooper on the roster. How would that work? Well, first they would have to decommit from Cooper. As I mentioned, Cooper's owned a $20 million salary in 2022, a number that is fully guaranteed if he is on the roster by March 21st. But it has an escape hatch, so to speak. If they cut him or trade him before March 21st, then they will save $16 million on the cap hit. So the step 2 then after that would be to commit to Wilson, who's coming off his $2 million salary, but he's also a free agent, so they would have full negotiating power with him. And then Steven noted a little bit later in his conversation regarding Wilson, quote, "He's up. There's some moving parts to that we'll still have to continue to massage as we move forward," end quote. So the projected hit or the projected salary or worth or whatever, whether it's going to cost to sign Wilson, is probably somewhere in the 3-year, $19 million. That might seem a little bit high. He's 26. He's 2 years younger than Amari. And it's thought that maybe he would come back to Dallas for less than $6 million a year, which we know that's just a fraction of what Cooper's salary is. So Wilson kind of had a breakout year in 2021 because of Michael Gallup's 2 stints being injured. I think Amari Cooper fell off quite a bit last year, as we talked about, but I think Cedrick Wilson's a little more valuable to the Cowboys because of the roles he can play. He can play all 3 wide receiver positions, the X, Y, Z. He can also return kicks for you, as he's done. And I think, whenever Gallup went down and Wilson stepped on the field, I don't think you saw any drop-off. None at all. Now, you'd have to bring somebody up to be your third then at this point, because the Lamb would clearly be your first, Cedrick your second. Is Malik Turner ready to do that? You're going to have to re-sign him unless you got somebody else in mind in the draft. Of course, you've got Simi Fehoko, the fifth-round draft pick from last season, who hasn't seen much of the field, but I think the Cowboys are happy with his progress. But we don't know that for sure. So what it really means is that we really don't know anything. But we're trying to read into Stephen Jones's verbiage, read into his words, tap into his brain a little bit, and see what's going on in there about Cedrick Wilson and Amari Cooper. I've said since early this season that Amari Cooper should probably be a cap casualty. He probably needs to go. I don't know if you can trade him with that contract. If you can, great. If not, you just cut him before March 21st and save that $16 million and use that to go get Wilson, go keep Wilson. If it helps you re-sign Dalton Schultz, that's great. I'm not sure Dalton Schultz can be here otherwise. I think he may be a hit. You're going to have to lose him just because you can't afford to re-sign him. He's probably going to be due between $11 and $13 million a year, which seems ridiculous. But that's what the going rate for a tight end with his ability is, and that boggles my mind. But anyway, that's where we are right now with the Amari Cooper situation, with the free agent / cap hell / bringing everybody back here with the Cowboys, as Stephen Jones spoke at the scouting combine this week. I am IndyCar Tim. Please find me on Twitter. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Until then, we'll see you.